Welcome to Angel K TV.
Hi, family! Welcome back to my channel. Or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Angel, and this is Angel K TV. Today, our topic is on order of operations. But again, with the twist, we have integers, positive and negative integers. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into this video. So we have been doing a lot of order of operations, but like I said earlier, there's a twist. There's always a twist. So this time, the difference is order of operations, but with integers, positive and negative. Order of operations includes parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Basically, this is trying to tell us what we need to do first. Okay, this is the order. In an equation, if we have parentheses, we do parentheses first, then exponents if we have any, multiplication, division. Yeah, you guys already get the point because we've been talking about this. So yeah, let's just jump right into number one, where as you can see we have a negative 18 divided by parentheses, or you can say a bracket, negative 2, cover the bracket, parentheses, times negative 11 plus 6. We'll cover the bracket. All right, so the first question we need to ask ourselves, do we have a parenthesis or do we have parentheses more of? Yeah, we do, but we can't work with this one, right? Because it's the same thing as saying negative 2 divided by what? Or plus what? Okay? So that's why we have to take this one first, because it says negative 11 plus 6, which will give us a negative 5. All right, so we'll bring down the ones we haven't used. So negative 18 divided by negative 2 times negative 5. So we can't take these two. Even though they're parentheses, we can't take them because, like I said, what are we dividing or subtracting or multiplying by? You know what I mean? So we have division here and we have multiplication. But we also have them on the same level, remember? So we have to work from left to right. I've already told you guys this before. When we have multiplication and division, or addition and subtraction on the same equation, so let's say this was subtraction instead and this was addition, so plus minus, that means we'll do from left to right. So that means we'll do 18 minus 2. Okay, that's what it basically means, or that's what they mean by working from left to right. So yeah, we're going to do negative 18. Remember, this is not minus, this is a negative sign. So negative 18 divided by negative 2 is going to give us a positive 9. Let's bring down the ones we haven't used. So multiplied by negative 5. So now we have 9 times negative 5. That's it. That's literally it. So what we're going to do is basically, like I said, 9 times negative 5, that is going to give us a negative 45. Again, like I said, see, a positive and a negative, different signs, and that is why we got a negative product. All right, so there's something that might confuse you guys that I want to point out, but first let's just see what number 2 brings to the table. Okay, so number 2, or for number 2, basically we have a negative 4 minus, this is minus, not negative, 4. Okay, so negative 4 minus 4 raised to the power of 2 plus negative 3 raised to the power of 3 divided by 9. So yeah, right off the bat, this definitely seems more complicated than the last one. But we'll get into it bit by bit and it'll be more understandable. So the first question we need to ask ourselves is, which comes first, or which do we do first? We have parentheses right here, right? But since we don't have anything to work with this one, we'll take this one instead, which is basically, or this one basically says negative 4 minus 4, which gave us, as you can see, a negative 8. You can basically put that into a calculator, by the way. If you do type in negative 4 minus 4, different signs, it gave us a negative product. But I also want to point out the fact that if you do it this way, negative 4 plus a negative 4, it gave us a negative 8, despite them being the same sign. Now, the reason for this is because we have to make it simpler. Because if you want to say this negative 4 and this negative, because remember, when we're talking about subtraction, we use this sign, right? We use this symbol. When we're talking about negative, we also use that symbol. And that is why it can confuse people. So you can also write it this way. And not surprisingly, if you put this in a calculator, it's also going to give us a -8 as well. Okay, so basically, -4 minus 4, or you can basically write up here and say -4 plus -4, either way would give us a -8 raised to the power of 2 plus -3 raised to the power of 3 divided by 9. So we'll bring down the ones we haven't used. And now what we have is a -8 raised to the power of 2 plus a -3 raised to the power of 3 divided by 9. So we're done with parentheses, right? So do we have any exponents? Let's ask ourselves that question. Yes, we do. We have 8 raised to the power, or -8 raised to the power of 2, and we have a -3 raised to the power of 3. So we have two exponents, but which do we do first? We'll take this one first, -8 raised to the power of 2. So the reason why, by the way, as you can see, these two are different, but let's not get into that. But the reason why we got 64 here is because we're doing -8 times -8. Okay, I've said this before, but with exponents, it doesn't mean 8 times 2. 8 times 2 is going to give us a different answer, right? It means 8 times itself, or any number times itself, basically. It doesn't mean that number times 2 or that number times 4. It means that number times itself 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. So if it were 3, we would have done -8 times -8 times -8, which would have given us a different answer. But we have to do it twice, okay? So it's -8 times -8, which will give us 64, a positive 64. Because remember, same signs equals positive product. Already seen it there. So 64. Now we'll bring down the ones we haven't used. So now what do we do next? Because we're technically done with these ones, okay? So now we have to solve these ones. What do we do next here? Again, exponents. We do -3 raised to the power of 3 because exponents come before multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. It's going to give us a -27. -27. Now cover the bracket, divided by 9. Again, we'll bring down the things we haven't used. So 64 plus -27 divided by 9. So what do we have? We have an addition. So 64 plus 27 you could do. But remember, we also have division. And multiplication and division come before addition and subtraction. So we have to do these two. Okay, we have to take 27 and 9. So we're going to do -27 divided by 9, which will give us a -3. Again, bring down the ones we haven't used, which is the 64 plus -3. All right, so we'll bring down that, and that is basically our last step. 64 plus -3, that is going to give us a 61. All right, family, but that is basically it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do not forget to like, subscribe, share this video with your friends and your family members. And if you guys didn't understand anything, or if you guys want me to further explain, because I know it can be quite confusing, but if you guys didn't understand anything, then make sure to let me know. Don't forget to also check out my videos on integers and order of operations, because that's obviously going to be very helpful and useful, for this video, because without knowing them separately, you really won't understand what I just did. Okay, so yeah, make sure to check out my videos on order of operations and integers before watching this one. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had an amazing rest. So good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whichever time you're watching this. And I'll see you guys next time in my next video. Many kisses and virtual hugs. Bye, family. Don't forget to stay safe.